you may be in danger of never putting Rocket League down again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Esports Arena in Santa Ana, California. We're going to get started for our next match here in the lower bracket of the Universal Open Rocket League Tournament. And as we mentioned, this is a double elimination tournament, so there is a lower bracket component of this. Right now, we're going to have DAPG versus SizzleUrCob, and then we have Flipside Tactics versus Mocket Esports before we get into the finals, as they're going to be here soon enough. Now, SizzleUrCob actually played off against Fibion this morning. The match was supposed to take place last night, but it ended up getting really late, so they agreed to play it this morning. And Fibion, of course, was a team that we've been talking about so much over the course of this tournament, but it was actually SizzleUrCob that came out on top here. You guys could already see them in the lower bracket. And as a quick little note to everyone, as I saw some confusion about this online, I'm going to make it very clear that yes, this is a double elimination tournament, but there will be no bracket reset in the grand finals. The team that comes through the upper bracket finals and wins will be granted a 1-0 advantage heading in to that grand final. So no bracket resets at all. So let's go ahead and meet our next two competitors, and we'll turn things over to our announcer, Trace.
Now entering the arena, Team DAPG, Dapper and Garrett G. Also entering the arena now, SizzleUrCob, Sizz and Jacob.
If Sizz isn't live on Periscope right now, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
I think it might be Snapchat.
Might be Snapchat. Okay, fair enough. I like it. All right, guys, so we got another match coming up here, and it's going to be Wave and James joining me on the desk this time. So I want to recap a little bit of what we just saw and kind of preview this match as well, because we have to talk about Method in some capacity. You cast the game, so I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. But halfway through game one, Quinn looked at me and said, these guys are going to win the event. Is it that certain? You guys think they're playing that well?
It's tough to tell because Flipside, they were really close against DAPG. Gale Force, we saw how good they can be. It's just, will they show up? But Method, they are starting to look like the favorite with how badly they are dominating all of their opponents.
And some people might look at the way they played against Flipside and be like, oh, I think Cookster was asleep, was still tired, was jet lagged or something like that. But the way they played against SizzleUrCob last night, a very warmed up North American team, no jet lag to play to accuse there, completely shut them out. They won every 50-50. They played perfect defense. Right now, Method is the team to beat.
One goal they've allowed this tournament.
That's unbelievable. So, okay, so we got two teams that are playing now, though, two North American teams, and an interesting component, as Quinn kind of walked us through before. We've got two energy players that are on completely different opposite sides here, so we may have an example of where these guys know each other's style a little bit. So these are the two teams, how they got here. SizzleUrCob came through the round of 16, defeated G2 Omega, then they were defeated by Method, who has been the stars of this tournament so far, but in the lower bracket, they've turned things on. They defeated G2 Esports, so they were, single-handedly responsible for knocking G2 out of this whole darn thing, and defeated Fibion 2-0 as well, and they have been kind of the up-and-coming stars of the tournament. DAPG, on the other hand, they defeated Fibion, then Mocket Esports, but were just taken out by Gale Force Esports, as we saw in our first match today, which, admittedly, the first game was actually super close. They had the advantage with 7 seconds left in the game. So let's preview this one a little bit. Let's break this match down. Two North American teams. Since we have an energy versus energy situation here, are we going to get anything different than normal, or is it going to fall pretty much according to plan?
So they are very contrasting play styles. Jacob is known for his unconventional, unpredictable style of play, usually just getting insane touches. Sizz, incredibly aggressive. Where Dapper and Garrett G, they're both similar styles of players. They really rely on those 1-versus-1 dribbling plays and trying to get the rebounds out to their teammate, whereas we might see a few more just chaotic plays from SizzleUrCob.
Yeah, that first match today was beautiful with DAPG, and I said yesterday I was really hoping for a SizzleUrCob C9 matchup, and that doesn't happen as Cloud9's no longer with us here. But this is going to be about the closest thing I'm going to get, I feel like. DAPG versus SizzleUrCob. These are some of the best players in North America going head-to-head. You just said kind of more of a 1v1, slightly defensive, wider rotation style against all-out aggression from SizzleUrCob. So hopefully we'll have another super high-flying 13-goal overtime game.
I can't wait. I hope so. That's the standard that's been set today. Anything else that doesn't live up to that is terrible. All right, guys. Well, SizzleUrCob can be counted on for one thing in particular, though, and that's just be ridiculous at all times. Win or lose, they're going to be crazy. And to be honest, that's been fun, especially for this tournament's character, which has featured so many teams that are mismatches of different squads. They don't normally play together. It was great to see a team show up and just want to have fun the entire time. So win or lose, I think they've endeared themselves to a lot of fans here.
Absolutely. If you know Jacob and Sizz, they're both goofballs. Jacob known for his foam topper that he wears in-game, and he also has one in real life that he'll wear around, so he is a joker. Yeah,
esports commonly is characterized by having one player on the roster who's kind of the morale booster. He's the hype man. He gets his team all amped up, and I feel like Jacob and Sizz are both those players for their respective teams, so they just completely amplify when they're next to each other. It's been really fun to watch them play.
Yeah, I definitely love it as well. So, okay, let's preview this match then a little bit more seriously, because we do have a North American team who's going home right now, and we have not that many of them left, to be totally honest. So a lot of talk was had coming into this that the European teams, they're just so darn good. Their skill is going to transfer over to 2v2, and in large part, we've absolutely seen that. So without getting into too many esports tropes about closing the gap between North America and Europe and stuff like that, what do North American squads need to do? What do they need to hone in on here?
Squishy tweeted about this, if you were paying attention to it. He says, NA just seems to ball chase too much. They rely on that individual skill. They try to make things happen on their own and force those opportunities, whereas Europe takes that team approach, and they are much better at taking a tactical approach to the game. So, I mean, that is even the case for this DAPG team. You have two just insanely good individual players, and that has carried them to this point. But you know, same for SizzleUrCob. Those guys are sick together, or individually, but together, you know, can they get those team plays going? Yeah,
playing as a team, and as you mentioned, these are actually the last two North American squads in the entire tournament, so whoever wins this match is carrying the weight of North America upon their shoulders against the entirety of Europe, who's still alive in this tournament. So doing exactly what James said is what they're going to have to do if they want to make North America proud here.
All right, fair enough. Well, while we got a few moments here, let's get to know DAPG a little bit closer as well.
My name is Chris Mendoza. I go by Dapper. I'm 18 years old from Ontario, California. I've played Rocket League since the game came out in July of 2015. I've probably played more than 3,500 hours in the game. My favorite food is spaghetti. My favorite athlete is Kobe Bryant. My favorite thing to do outside of gaming is photography and filming. If I won the grand prize, the first thing I would buy is a gift for my mom.
My name is Garrett Gordon, and I go by Garrett G. I'm 16 years old from Augusta, Georgia. I've played Rocket League since October of 2015. I've probably played more than 4,000 hours in the game. My favorite food is crab legs. My favorite athlete is Aaron Murray. My favorite thing to do outside of gaming is basketball. If I won the grand prize, I'd probably just save it.
He would save it and buy crab legs, apparently.
Save it, buy crab legs, Dapper, buy a gift for his mom. Those guys.
I just, you know, we went through these a little bit in the regionals when we saw some of these interviews, and like, I just expected a few people to be like, I'm going to buy a car, or I'm going to go on a vacation, or I'm going to do this really cool thing, or I'm going to fund my school or something, just anything. But everyone's like, I don't know, I'll probably put in a bank account, get some interest on it.
to be fair, with at least like 4 or 5 of the pros, they've already bought cars with their current winnings.
Fair enough.
They did their fund purchase. Yeah, so now they're like, oh, I'm going to invest it. You know, you find a financial manager or something like that. And it's like, you're 16. I'm confused, you know.
But I love it, though. So, okay, all right. So some not so serious responses there. And anyone who says their favorite food is spaghetti, come on.
Yeah,
you got to get out. You got to get out in the world a little bit. I'm sorry, Dapper. So, I guess I don't know. I'm just too used to all those bad casinos where you see people like, give me 20 pounds, and that's all they want. So it's weird to me. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get into this match here in just a second. Let's go ahead and actually bring in the guys from upstairs as well, who are going to be walking us through the match. Take it away.
All right. Yeah, we're getting ready to get this match underway between DAPG and SizzleUrCob. And Quinn, I really just I don't know who's really going to take this game. I think we're going to see what we saw in the first match today. It's just going to be so fast, and both of these teams like to play at top speed, and I just think we're going to see just the ball just smack back and forth, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in Rocket League, you typically smack the ball back and forth. But,
okay, yeah, well.
I mean, a little more seriously, I think that DAPG, in my opinion, are going to be the favorites in this match, and we see them really kind of elevating their play to a new level. DAPG, in the regionals, they were struggling really to utilize each other, and they haven't kind of gone to that, you know, perfect EU, I guess, ideal that Squishy was talking about, where no, and honestly, so they do need to use each other more often. That's like the key to 2v2. You're missing a teammate and compared to 3v3. You need to use your team, and I think that they've been improving. So I think that I still think they're further ahead of SizzleUrCob, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it all weekend, how every single game we watched Dapper and Garrett play, they just seem to start to get more in tune with each other. And I think that, you know, that storyline continues for them, is if they can continue to tighten that up, then they can just continue to run through this lower bracket. I mean, this is their first lower bracket match to try to get back in and get to the grand finals to possibly get a rematch. But it's going to be tough for SizzleUrCob, I think, unless they can get more of those team plays. We haven't seen those team plays out of Jacob and Sizz. We see just play it really fast. I'm just, you know, going to slam it against the corner and hope you can rebound it and we don't overcommit.
Yeah, one of the awesome things about watching Jacob play 2v2 and 3v3, you don't have as much time, so when you see him go for a lot of unorthodox things, it kind of gets hidden. But in 2v2, he gets so much more time, and that really becomes difficult for players to defend. You're going to see DAPG, I mean, honestly, they're going to be thankful they have Garrett, who's experienced with Jacob, knows what Jacob's intentions are going to be, knows what he's going to be trying to do on the field. So I think that as we look into this game, expect to see a lot of mind games between Jacob and Garrett G. That's really where this match is actually going to be taking place, between the two of these guys.
Well, we are going to get ready for this is elimination series between SizzleUrCob and DAPG. This is going to get straight underway. It's Jacob going to look to go first assault. He's throwing it straight towards the net, and it's knocked away by Garrett G. Sizz keeping it in play as he works to the opposite corner. Now DAPG looking to try to move this one out, but Sizz comes up with it, tries to force it onto the net, but cleared back to midfield.
Yeah, good backcourt defense there from Garrett, just zoning Sizz away and forcing him to bring the ball to Garrett.
Oh, that was in! Garrett G just snipes it up to the corner, 1-0.
Wow, what a great shot already. The 50-50 from Jacob and Garrett, and that bounce just going right over Jacob. There's nothing he can do. At that point, Sizz needs to be back in the net. He was turned around. He was expecting to push forward, but he recognized that Garrett was going to have a potential shot. He turned around. Unfortunately, too little, too late. He needs to have that anticipation to prevent that.
A fake kickoff here by SizzleUrCob, but just goes by the wayside. Jacob didn't have the angle. And Sizz staying back in support. Jacob on the point. Garrett trying to move it out. Dapper has to try to make a save. Sizz just trying to keep the ball away from both Dapper and Garrett. In midfield, Jacob has an open net, but it's coming flying back as Dapper to make the save. Not able to win the challenge, and Dapper's able to clear it downfield.
Yeah, and a lot of respect to Dapper. His 50-50 game has improved immensely. If you pay attention to yesterday and today, he has just been winning 50-50 after 50-50, and that's going to be so frustrating for Sizz and Jacob to deal with, especially Jacob's unorthodox play style and Sizz being hyper-aggressive. One bad 50-50 could lead to a goal against them, and so easily we could see DAPG take away this game.
A minute 22 gone so far in game number 1 here. Moving downfield, trying to find their second goal. Dapper, one thrown to the opposite side by Sizz, played back in by Garrett. The corner. Jacob takes it out, cannot get it above Dapper, and back to midfield it goes. Sizz has to rush back and reset.
Yeah, there actually wasn't that much pressure. We see Dapper Garrett G opting to let them reset the ball and choose how it's going to work. And that's very much Garrett's play style. He loves to give the other team possession of the ball and let them make mistakes and just move from there. Let them overcommit. As we see now, he's a 1v2. Sizz unable to get back in there.
Oh, could not make the connection on the pass. Just missing. And able to retain the lead is Dapper and Garrett. Back. Up high, looking for a shot onto the net. Jacob really had him beat on the play. Garrett getting the first hit. It gets cleared back towards midfield, and we're approaching the halfway point of this game. It's still 1-0, but probably not as fast as we might have expected. Time to get down, and Garrett and Dapper still maintaining possession of the ball. That shot just wide, and Sizz playing it off to the corner.
Yeah, good control there from Sizz, taking his time, avoiding that bump there from Dapper, just really letting their play go around patiently down the field.
Downfield. Time still ticking down for Jacob and Sizz. Haven't really had an offensive opportunity at all. And Sizz had one chance to try to rush it past Dapper. He cannot get it by him. Sizz still working the ball, working the back wall. Jacob, that one turned away yet again by Dapper and Garrett as they get it out to the corner. But here comes SizzleUrCob. Sizz, the shot, and it's just wide. Not enough power. Oh. Jacob sneaks that one in, beating the defense. It's 1-1.
Yes, such good pressure here. We see Sizz go up so fast, and Garrett needs to be moving up faster if he wants to be able to defend that. And Dapper unable to get back in time to deal with that. Such a good turn up from Jacob, able to secure that goal. Sizz's follow-up on Jacob's pass, so key there to allow Jacob to turn around and secure that goal.
We're a minute 45 remaining in this game, and it's now tied up. Seeing a couple of opportunities from Dapper and Garrett, but Sizz and Jacob are moving downfield. Resetting. Looking for that midfield boost control, but quickly moving it downfield. Sizz a nice challenge, getting it to the corner, but it's back towards the box. Sizz on the point. Jacob just waiting for that tap from Dapper. It's actually a slam from Dapper, just wide. Sizz playing it away, and Sizz just continually came back, flying out of nowhere and challenging it, just keeping it away from that point man. Great job by Sizz there, Jacob.
They've overcommitted. This is going to be a goal here for Jacob and Sizz.
There it is. 1-2 goals for Sizz and Jacob.
Yeah, wow, SizzleUrCob here. Jacob just a wide open goal here, an uncharacteristic overcoming here from Dapper and Garrett G. And we talked a little bit earlier about how they have that 1v1 mentality in both the players here. Dapper especially, we've seen him kind of go absent from this game and not much team play between the two of them. And that's going to have to change because it looks like Sizz and Jacob are really letting Dapper and Garrett G kind of make mistakes and just opting to capitalize that instead of playing that high-octane, high-pressure playstyle we may have expected coming into this match.
And they have the lead here with 45 seconds remaining. In the offensive zone, that shot just off the backboard by Jacob. Sizz gonna grab it in rotation. Sizz and Jacob staying away from it. Sizz actually getting blown up on this play, but Jacob still has possession of the ball, buying plenty of time. He's going up, trying to get down, and smacked down by Garrett G. Sizz and Jacob still working it towards the box. 20 seconds left, still down by 1. But Dapper and Garrett cannot find the ball in the corner. This might be an opportunity. They have a 2v1. Can they find the pass?
This could be a goal here. This is a
challenge. Can they find it off the corner? Jacob coming down. All they got to do is play keep away and playing it down. Time still ticking to 0. The ball still in the air. Anything can happen at this point. Moving towards the blue end. Can they keep it up in the air? They cannot. It's SizzleUrCob taking game 1.
Oh, that's going to be huge there for SizzleUrCob. I don't think DAPG expected SizzleUrCob to come out here with the advantage that they did. We look at the stats here, and you can see it's actually relatively even here. As far as assists goes, Jacob and Sizz with 1 assist, DAPG with no assist. Speaking to the kind of game we're looking at here, a very individual game, and playing off of the counterattack, Jacob and Sizz not really utilizing a lot of there's not that many goals. They're not trying to outscore DAPG. They're just trying to prevent conceding a lot of goals.
And I think you nailed it earlier. And as we look at the highlights here, we're gonna see it. Just that they were content. DAPG looked like they had control during the game, but Jacob and Sizz just didn't want to overcommit, and then we see either a double commit or just missed touches that allowed Jacob and Sizz to get the 2 goals that won them this game.
Yeah, really needing to kind of sort out some miscommunication on defense here. We saw DAPG and Garrett actually bump into each other a few times and really struggling to figure out what each other were trying to do and play off of intent. It's super important, especially in 2v2, with how much space you have on the field, that you utilize that map. You utilize all that potential opening and all the space, and we didn't see that from Dapper and Garrett G. We saw them oftentimes occupying the same spot. We saw them oftentimes running over each other and not even really positioning themselves for passes, and I think that is what's going to have to happen if we want to see them have success.
And definitely uncharacteristic of what we've seen so far out of this DAPG squad. They're going to have to fight back here in game number 2. Their players have taken their sides of the field, and we're going to get it straight underway as they look to tie the series up 1-1. Quickly on the face-off, it's actually going to be Sizz and Jacob slamming it to the opposite side of the field. It is a best of three, and that could be a quick lead, but it's knocked away by Dapper on the shot from Sizz.
Super important to mention that this is a loser's bracket match, meaning that whoever is eliminated, like Kevin Naki said on the desk, they will be out of the tournament. There is one North American team going home, and I'm sure Garrett G and Jacob don't want to be that one NRG member that had to go home early.
And Quinn, they're in what I like to call elimination station. This last game, they lose this, their tickets will be punched home getting on that train. But 40 seconds into this one, still 0-0. Moving back and forth, Garrett G and Dapper gonna play it slow out as Dapper on the wing takes the pass from Garrett, knocked away by Sizz. And again, moving it straight out. This is kind of what Sizz and Jacob have done all game. Jacob makes one miss, cannot make Dapper miss. And now moving it down, there's no one back
this could be
in
a
the
goal
net.
for
That's
Dapper.
gonna be a goal. It's 1-0 for DAPG.
Wow, just 50-50 after 50-50. That's what I'm talking about. Dapper just getting so good at this. And this angle actually very difficult. Those bounces off the top corner can be super hard to predict, especially you don't know they're coming straight down. And if that ball had come straight down, he wouldn't have had that angle. So he's definitely going to be thankful.
And absolutely thankful. And they found themselves up early in game one as well. They're going to get a second one almost just wide. And Sizz and Jacob going to move it out downfield. In the corner, Sizz working there against Dapper. Garrett G in midfield. Still working the edge and trying to control the boost. DAPG just gets slapped back to midfield. Garrett G having to try to stay on the ball. Buy time for Dapper to get back, and there he is, but a challenge great by Sizz as Garrett G just kind of threw it into him.
Yeah, Sizz just like a one-man train right now at Roman Wrecking Ball, excuse me.
Oh, what a shot! Jacob in the corner! 1-to-1, great placement.
This entire last 25 seconds, you see just set up by Sizz, pressuring Dapper and Garrett G, and it's because you can tell nobody's set there in goal. No one is positioned in defense on DAPG. They are not understanding what each other are trying to do, and as a result, they can't deal with the pressure. Sizz alone able to keep the both of them trapped in their own half. That should not be happening with the amount of space that you have in 2v2.
Sizz causing havoc in 2v2, just in everybody's faces as 2 minutes are about up here in game number 2. And we are at a tied scoreline. Throwing it to the side with Sizz right there in midfield to slap it back in.
Great pass.
There's a great pass from Dapper, and it's knocked out to the side. DAPG just can't seem to get any sort of possession. A really hard pass. That one connection not made, broken up by Dapper. Garrett G trying to chase this down from Sizz, opting for Dapper. Off the back wall, played nicely by Sizz as he booms it straight back downfield. A little bit of ping pong as we approach the halfway point. And as I say that, coming down just outside the box, and it's going to be rolled out here.
A huge risk there from Dapper and Garrett G, and oh.
Looks like we're having a little bit of an issue, and just reset, and off we go. 220. No harm done there, off high onto the side. Slapping it, Dapper, the shot knocked away by Sizz. That was an odd bounce, playing a little bit of pinball there.
Yeah, really fast reactions from Garrett G, but actually working out to their advantage because they were able to kind of...
Oh,
that's it.
No, it's off the post. He finally finishes it, and Sizz is able to find the goal and take the lead 2-1.
I mean, a good follow-up here from Sizz. That was an incredible 50-50 off the inside of the post. And Dapper again, instead, using that outside of that post, that's really difficult spot to predict. The ball's either going to bounce straight out off of the, or parallel to the post, or it's going to go back to the center. You saw Dapper expecting it to go closer to the center. He should have just opted to go back in goal, positioning himself a little bit better and anticipating a shot from Sizz.
DAPG definitely on their back wheels now, as if the scoreline stays the same, they will be out of this tournament. They need to get this goal to force game, at least an overtime in game 2, let alone a game 3. A nice little move by Garrett. Dapper slips it in!
Dapper!
2-2, what a play by Garrett and Dapper.
Such a difficult shot here to make. Garrett G just, what? Going underneath the ball to get the pop up into the air, and Dapper with such control. He goes so slowly at the ball, and that's what lets him get the softest touch to duck that ball down and avoid hitting that off of his own backboard. They tie up the game.
We call that the scoop and boop where I come from.
The scoop
and boop. Over 130 left, it almost getting the lead off the crossbar.
Are you serious?
Makes the save, but Garrett G able to finish it off, and they take the lead with 1:28 left to go.
I don't care what you say here. That's save from Sizz. Something incredible. And unfortunately, Sizz going a little too fast. It goes and makes an incredible save and then just flies off the inside of the goal.
Well, 3-2 now for Dapper and Garrett G. Can they force game number 3 against SizzleUrCob? They have control of the ball, but there's a nice flip by Sizz, and he's going to tie it straight back up.
This is actually a really good idea here for Dapper. After Sizz misses this, Dapper tries to put the ball center there for Garrett, but he needs more pace on there, especially considering Dapper has no boost there. That needs to be the perfect pass so that Garrett G doesn't just get dunked or doesn't miss it, because Dapper will not be back in time. And as we see, the pass just not good enough and leads to a goal again. The game is tied.
Well, Sizz and Jacob are doing their secret handshake after that goal. The power of the secret handshake getting them the tie game. Sizz getting the demo on Dapper. I was going to take this one slow out. Here's Jacob. Opting now for Sizz as Jacob goes downfield. The challenge there by Garrett G.
Important to mention here, this is the last live here for Garrett G and Dapper. Sizz and Jacob having the 1-game advantage. It's a best of 3, so we need to see Dapper and Garrett G take this game or they will be going home.
And trying to move it downfield. If they're able to slap it away once, here's Dapper. Staying on this ball in the corner. But Sizz and Jacob controlling the corner there. And able to at least keep it, but that's Garrett off the back wall looking for Dapper, but all the options are covered by SizzleUrCob. 25 seconds left to go. And
Sizz actually preventing a clear there from Jacob, and that could have been bad as it looked like Dapper and Garrett G had a huge opportunity for a shot there. There are defensive misplays here from Sizz and Jacob.
He tried to go under them. It could have been such a nice play by Dapper, but Sizz read it at the last possible second. 5 seconds left. We could be headed to overtime, and that shot right into Jacob's nose. And as time will not end off the ceiling, can he find it and played away by Jacob? The ball hits the ground. We have overtime.
Oh, now into this golden goal. That's the name of overtime in Rocket League. And
no,
watch kickoff.
Jacob, no.
Is this it?
Jacob, no! Jacob, he can't find it. Not enough power.
This could be a
Dapper. This could be a 2v1. Can he flip it straight around? Cannot find it. He was looking for Garrett on that play, and it's still 3-3.
Right there again, another miscommunication between Dapper and Garrett G. There's no bumps, nothing happening in that 2v1 situation. That's what we need to see. We need Dapper and Garrett G to work together to make this goal happen.
Leading in the corner. Garrett G struggling to try to get this one out. Dapper in support as he stuffs it to the corner, but they can't get it out toward the box. The demo. It's an open net, but nobody's there to finish it off. Here's Jacob, the shot slapped away by Garrett G. 45 seconds into this overtime, they've been on their back wheels.
Yeah, we thought Jacob was sure Sizz was going to score that.
No. He just flips it up.
He took care of that. All right, but we thought
dodging bullets left and right, Quinn.
Jacob thought Sizz was going to secure that goal, and as a result, he did turn around to secure it. That could have been the game there for Sizz and Jacob. They're going to be beating themselves if they let Dapper and Garrett G back into the series.
Still in overtime, Sizz looking for any kind of offensive opportunity, but just no puck luck
good touch
for this
there.
team. Or ball luck, I guess you could call it, but Garrett G and Dapper now getting it out of their own zone. Can they find a shot? This one off the corner. Rotating back, just Garrett G cannot find it, slap back in.
A good bump there from Dapper, not letting Jacob turn around for a quick counterattack. Oh, but good pass here from Sizz to Jacob.
That one's just slapped away by Garrett G. The shot from Jacob still in play for SizzleUrCob. Garrett G is one of the best defensive players in the game, and he's showing you why right now.
And just not enough pressure here coming from Garrett G and Dapper, just letting Jacob and Sizz really having most of their way with them. And Sizz doing an incredible job actually clearing the ball time and time again for this team.
Sizz trying to find Jacob, and now they're caught together. There's a demo, a quick power play. Can he get the shot? Knocked away by Sizz! And rotating back around, Dapper gonna try to keep it in play. And not a favorable angle for this team. That one goes to box as soon as I say that. Jacob making the save 2 minutes and 15 seconds into this overtime. No one can seem to find the back of the net. That one might off the crossbar. He cannot. It is saved by Dapper. He gets another one.
Yeah, Dapper, Garrett G, Sizz, Jacob. Just time and time again, going for these incredible shots and also being saved. Oh, this is dangerous. There's no defender.
Can he get back to it? He can! Garrett G! He wraps back around and taps it up to the top. And DAPG forces
Can you believe it's game 3? Game number 3. Look at this shot, driving underneath it. He puts his car flat. He lets the ball get all the way across his car. Incredible timing there. It's placement from Garrett G and utilizes his flip at the last second to get the ball to move behind him. Such a good play there from Garrett G. And wow, what a series we've had so far. It's definitely not what I was predicting. You look at the shots here in this game, and you can tell SizzleUrCob much more dominant. Garrett G, only 3 shots. I think that actually speaks to how much defensive work Garrett G was doing. You don't see a lot of saves from him, but he was really the key to clearing the ball for that DAPG team.
We're going to see some of that on the highlights here as we take a look at them. And Dapper and Garrett both, and Garrett G, really just the absolute MVP of Game 2, doing so much work. We saw that, you're going to see it soon on the highlights. We'll see Jacob getting that nice placement shot on that shot, but a nice passing play gets them another goal.
That save from Sizz was incredible. It was a good shot, good pass, whatever. No one cares. That save from Sizz, it was insane.
It was, and Sizz gets another goal, and that, I believe, it tied the game up. And this, another save you see from Garrett and Dapper, and it just all game long. And this is where we see this tap right here.
What a shot! Garrett! So good. Even they're popping off. You can see the reaction from the players. Those guys, they're ready to play here. We're getting into the game. Game number 3. The loser of this match is going home out of the Universal Open.
And we're getting right into it as the face-off timer kicks down and game number 3 underway. Who's going to win? Will it be DAPG moving on through the loser's bracket, or will SizzleUrCob slam the door shut and send DAPG packing? This game is already underway. And Garrett looking to take it towards the box. It's slapped away by Jacob. Going up high, Sizz flying down and met up high by Dapper. The follow-up by Garrett gets it downfield. Working end-to-end. Taking it out, Dapper. Knocked away there by Sizz, waiting for something. Garrett, the shot just high off the backboard. Taking it out now, Sizz. 1 tap, 2 taps. He finds a 3rd one. He forces it against the backboard, but Dapper gets it out to the corner. Now, Dapper. He's got to try to clear this out to Garrett. He does find him and able to work it downfield. So far, a minute gone, and neither team really getting a solid advantage.
Stealing play.
Garrett is just doing some insane things mechanically in this series. That shot slow and turned away by both Sizz and Jacob.
But you saw Sizz and Jacob there having some defensive issues there. Dapper and Garrett G, just one ceiling shot, put them in defensive shambles for a moment there, showing that Dapper and Garrett G, they do have a chance here. They just need to figure out their own communication issues that we saw in the previous match, and I think that they have the chance to take this match through.
Off the backboard, Garrett G and Dapper are going to try to move it out yet again. Dapper on the point, Garrett G in support. There's the shot, there's the goal. 1-0 for DAPG.
Yeah, great methodical play here by Dapper, just focusing on drawing out the defender. Sizz, he needs to stall there, he needs to buy time. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do so.
Well, now with a 1-0 lead, they've had a 1-0 lead at the start of every single game in this series. Can they culminate in a win? Move on in this tournament. There's a slide. That was an interesting hit right off of his car. And Garrett G has to force his way back. Sizz taking the pass from Jacob. Challenge broken up by Dapper. Flying from the back is Garrett off the ceiling. And Jacob gonna play it away slowly as he just slaps it out. Jacob still just playing up on the point. Finds his way back to the ball. Garrett G able to hit it out to Dapper. Challenged by Sizz. All over this one in the corner. Jacob gets rid of 1 defender. Here comes Sizz to Jacob, the pass, the goal! 1-1 tie game.
So grimy, Sizz and Jacob here. Look at Sizz. He waits for the ball, plays so patiently, and he moves the ball sideways, also utilizing that exact same flip to make the pass to also bump the defender. 2-in-1. What a play there for Sizz.
Sizz and Jacob, very capable of just running away with it if DAPG lets them in here. Having to work the corner yet again. Another demolition. Both of these teams starting to get pretty physical, which we've seen on and off throughout this entire tournament. Giving it off to Sizz was Jacob. Not a solid clear. Coming back quickly is Dapper to get the hit from Garrett G, but it is Sizz. Oh, wow, for himself. That's a nice touch out to Dapper from Garrett G. still really in their own end. They can't clear this out. Jacob or Sizz are always right there to clear it back as this heads toward midfield.
And good control here from Sizz, bringing it back to his own half. We see a bit of a stalemate here between all the players. So much interference play, actually, which is something that we haven't really seen a lot. Something we saw a lot from the Method games earlier. And it's something that I think that's a little bit underutilized in 2v2. There's so much risk here, but all of it.
Oh, the pass! Oh, and knocked away by Jacob, staying the course with the ball, reading that pass the whole way through. Off to the side, Garrett G smacking across. Still a tie game with less than 2 minutes left to go. Jacob trying to take a shot. It's knocked away by Dapper. Garrett G trying to find him in the pass, the shot, the save, but it's still hanging towards the box. And Jacob able to get the crucial follow-up, and he slaps it out towards midfield. But here's Garrett G up and over.
Sizz, he committed for that at the same time. Jacob tried to play interference. He's going to be out of the play. Oh, no. Dapper a little too slow to capitalize on that 1v1.
A minute 30 left to go. In the corner. Dapper just trying to keep it away from Jacob, who's just shadowing him so closely the whole way. Getting it to Garrett. And that one hanging towards the net of SizzleUrCob. Giving it off to Garrett G. Dapper up on the point, just going to back off in the rotation. Don't want to overcommit. You feel like the next goal might win this game. Here, DAPG in the corner, stealing the boost away, and the bump. Here's the one tap. There's two tap, the save by Sizz. You can be so tempted to just go for the ball off that first rebound. Sizz able to make an incredible save with less than a minute left to go.
Yeah, but the nerves there that Sizz must have been feeling. We've seen him have a few impatient saves, jumping out of goal a little earlier. But not only was he getting bullied there, he also had the patience to wait and make an incredible save and keep this game even with 40 seconds left.
We have seen some incredible passing plays in this series alone from both of these squads. There's one shot up the top, and Jacob able to knock it away. 30 seconds left in this game. Game number 3 could be heading to overtime. Still some time left in regulation to end this game. Sizz giving it off to Jacob up high. He loses the challenge to Garrett. But up top there, Jacob comes down with the ball. The only one near it now is Garrett. He just hits that one right over to Sizz. Time still ticking down. Remember, it will not go to overtime until this ball hits the ground, as this one's still hanging in the air. Oh, it heads towards the box. Can they find that solid shot opportunity? It's overtime.
Yeah, good job there from Dapper. He wanted to bring this into overtime. Are there going to be any kickoff shenanigans? No, we don't see any.
Well, off to the side, it's going to be DAPG taking control off that kickoff. And a good play high off the backboard by Jacob to boom it straight back downfield. Sizz not able to find it. A great play there by Dapper. Getting it out to Garrett G, who's sailing down and knocked away by Jacob.
Probably one of the first air dribbles we've seen in this game altogether. Something we've seen a lot actually in 2v2 because it lets you keep control of the ball.
Oh, that's dangerous. That's in. That's in. Sizz and Jacob, they move on. And DAPG are eliminated from the 2v2 Universal Open Tournament.
DAPG, just a small little error there. Sizz crushing on through. We are going to see the only North American team left in this tournament, SizzleUrCob. Hats off to them. What a performance there actually against DAPG. Widely considered to be the favorites and just coming in so strong. Look at the shots here. This is absolutely incredible.
Three shots on net, and 2 of them win it.
Yeah, we see
efficiency.
3 shots from SizzleUrCob, but we see 10 on the side of DAPG. And I think that speaks to the fact that they were clearing the ball on target. Not effective shots at all. Yeah. Not really putting any serious pressure on SizzleUrCob. There were actually a few incredible saves, namely from Sizz especially. I'm sure we're going to see that in some of these highlights. Just how good SizzleUrCob were at neutralizing DAPG.
And one of the main things that Sizz and Jacob did so well was, and you mentioned it multiple times in the series, being so disruptive. Right there, you see Sizz bumping him out of the way.
The bump and the pass, that is seriously efficiency.
And even on plays that didn't result in goals, you saw Sizz or Jacob just getting up there and bullying away Dapper and Garrett. And that could either be tilting or it just puts you out of position. They did it so well, so consistently, and that's why they're moving on.
Yeah, seriously, such an incredible play, but we're going to be handing that down to Alex downstairs, who has an interview with SizzleUrCob.
All right, I hear SizzleUrCob. These guys, they're just talking about that last match. And I want to get, yeah, let's give it over. Yeah, I like it. All right, yeah, that's good, that's good. We were talking a little bit, talking about that last match. What did it come down to, you guys? Who did the better job between you?
Definitely me. I always like to take the credit, and Sizz is usually useless, so.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give all the credit to myself. I pretty much did everything that series. Jacob was just AFK in the back doing nothing.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Jacob, I want to get your quick thoughts though on playing against Garrett. Obviously, you have the same jersey, NRG, but you're on different teams for this tournament. Can you talk about that dynamic a little bit?
Yeah, I actually really hate playing against Garrett. He's like so good. I'm so glad he's on my team. I don't have to deal with that like 90% of the time.
Well played, of course. Garrett and Dapper now out of the tournament, but you guys moving on as the last North American team representing in this tournament. So, talk to me about that. You're the last team from NA. It's up to you against the European teams. Does that add pressure? Does it feel good? Talk to me about that.
It's unexpected, honestly.
Sizz?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of formed last second, so I mean, we made it a lot further than everyone else, which kind of blows my mind, but I mean, we don't really have any pressure on us, I think, because we're still like just dumb. So we just go and do our thing and just like don't really care. But I don't know, it's nice having to like get wins under our belt while we're just having fun.
Last quick question for you guys: Flipside or Mocket? Who do you think you're playing, and how are you feeling? How are you going to prepare going to that match?
I feel like we're going to play Mocket. When we were scrimming them yesterday, we kind of went like even, so I don't know how it's going to go. We'll see.
All right, let's give it up one more time for SizzleUrCob, your last North American team here at the Universal Open.
All right, so we know our next team moving into the lower bracket semifinal. SizzleUrCob takes out DAPG 2-1. As we said so many times, they're of course the only North American team left in this. On the other side, though, 4 European teams entered, 4 remain. There are 2 left in the lower bracket, so 1 will finally get eliminated here between Flipside and Maka. But let's talk about that last set. Super close between those 2 teams at the very least. I mean, that was, let's see, Garrett gets the first goal most of the time, but yet SizzleUrCob plays spectacular defense. I mean, you saw Jacob's stat line at the end of that last game. 1 shot, 1 goal, 6 saves. Crazy stuff. What did you see from that defensive play?
Yeah, it was a lot of, again, individual plays, I thought. I thought this was a very scrappy matchup. Every game was only determined by 1 goal. We saw 2 overtime games. So this was really neck and neck. And, you know, I was hoping we'd see more passing plays, but really we just saw a lot of individual talent, especially that overtime goal by Garrett. That was insane.
Yeah, these teams, I like that this was like your dark horse pick and my dark horse pick going up against each other. It was a lot of fun just to watch it. As we were on the desk, we were kind of like both slightly cheering for the teams that we had picked. But the first game, it felt like they really struggled. DAPG was struggling to get the 50-50 game going. They were struggling to create some space to work with on offense. So that game felt like it was mostly in control by SizzleUrCob. But then all those problems go completely away in games 2 and 3. And the big difference maker was Sizz. His 50-50s, the game winner there in that game 3 on the wall. Both players, he just read it just slightly better than Garrett G and puts it into an open net. It was incredible to watch Sizz play.
Okay, so one thing I want to follow up on, though, is when I was watching DAPG, and maybe this is not the right take or anything like that, there was a lot of communication going on. I noticed they weren't really talking to each other all that much. SizzleUrCob, on the other hand, great communication the other time on top of just the reactions that we saw and stuff like that. And there were a couple of times where it felt like DAPG had opportunities maybe or missed an open net or something like that due to lack of communication. Talk to me about the importance of communication, how that actually makes a difference in this game.
Yeah, at this level of play, the communication is normally calling out when you're going to get the ball or when you're low on boost, because there will be situations where you're in a position where you might be expected to hit the ball, but if you have no boost, you can't make the play. So small things like that, I got it, or please take it, or I need to retreat for boost. Those are the key things you look for players to communicate with. And when you see communication breaking down, you see 2 players both going for the same ball because they're not calling out.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like I didn't notice any plays that made it clear that there was a lack of communication on DAPG, and that being the result of their loss. I think, honestly, they created a lot of fantastic plays. This was a game that felt, to me, decided by people stepping up and people making plays, not as much of mistakes. It was Sizz making spectacular saves in net and Jacob making spectacular saves, blocking great offensive setups from DAPG, and SizzleUrCob comes away with the win because of it.
Okay, so last thought. 1 North American team left. 4 European teams left. Does SizzleUrCob have a chance to take this whole thing?
You know, I think, you know, in Jacob's interview, he said it was unexpected that they made it here, and I'm going to agree with him. I thought SizzleUrCob, I didn't have them as my team to be the only NA team left to fight. But they can do it. We've seen the upsets happen time and time again. They can do it, but they are definitely not the favorites. All the European teams left are showing us why they're that favorite region.
I mean, you know how I feel. I'm going to stick with my guns here. SizzleUrCob all the way into the finals. I don't know who they're going to face off against, but at this point, I'm on the train.
And we're actually going to break down a few of the games here individually, as we're going to go back through some highlights of games 1, 2, and 3. So we'll be bringing those up here in just a second. And as we mentioned before, Garrett starts right off the bat really quick, ends up picking up a goal. But from there on out, SizzleUrCob was able to slow down the pace of play. They took control of opportunities, made things happen. It was fun to watch. Now, so talk to me a little bit here. Why were they able to come back and do especially well in this defensive overtime? Because that, to me, was the craziest part of this whole game. For all the playmaking opportunities we saw in the regular time, they kind of went out the window in overtime.
It's just, you know, Garrett G and Dapper, and even SizzleUrCob, they still just weren't making those team plays. You see that play right there? That was just a missed clear.
I have tried to make that clear on the wall so many times. I'm nowhere even close. He made it look so easy for him to get that off the wall. I'm so impressed by Sizz in this series.
Yeah, Sizz, despite Jacob's trash talk, Sizz was doing most of the heavy lifting.
He was.
In that series. Maybe that's what their communication is, just talking trash to each other. Maybe that works for them.
Apparently, that's how you become the best team 2v2 in NA, though. So they, Cloud9 couldn't make it, G2 couldn't make it, but SizzleUrCob, they're still in this thing. I like it. So, okay, well, let's look forward to the next couple of matches then, because coming up next, we are going to have a face-off between two of the European squads in Market Esports and Flipside Tactics. As we can see right here, the winner of this will move on to take on SizzleUrCob, but the loser is knocked out of this event. Now, Market was knocked into the lower bracket a lot earlier on, but they've been doing very well since they got there. Flipside, on the other hand, though, played a super close set against Cloud9. Looks to be one of the better teams in this tournament. Who are you favoring going into this?
I'm going to have to give this one to Flipside. I think they have been playing together for such a long time, and now facing elimination, they're very familiar with the lower bracket. I think they can do it. They're going to upset, or not even upset, they're just going to take it over Market.
I mean, this is one of the most storied rivalries in Rocket League, Market versus Flipside. These two teams have been around since the beginning, and they constantly are running into each other. Pashy, in particular, has constantly been a thorn in the side of Flipside, but Flipside in the lower bracket is also one of the notorious memes of Rocket League, and they have constantly won down there, so I could see it going either way. I'm going to put my money on Market for this one.
All right, fair enough. We'll see who wins, but we're going to throw things over to Trace right now to introduce our two teams.
Now entering Esports Arena, Flipside, Marky Duda and Cookser. Now entering Esports Arena, Market Esports, Pashy and Fairy Peak.
All right, when we come back, it's going to be Market Esports versus Flipside Tactics for elimination here at the grand finals of the Universal Open Rocket League 2v2 tournament.